Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Red Flags Anonymous. I'm Kris, your serial optimist,
And I'm Ivy, your Delulu queen.
and we are in a beautiful location today. We took a little
Very beautiful.
staycation.
Yes, very beautiful.
Yes,
Yes, I'm
tropical
loving it.
vibes.
Are we
Yes.
giving the tropical
I
vibes?
think
Because I
so.
think we're definitely giving the tropical vibes. We definitely are.
And we are so excited about today's topic. So we're not going to waste too much time. We're just going to dive right on in.
Yes.
So if you guys have been tuning in, at the end of episode 3, we were talking about situationships and how they tend to lean into love triangles.
Yes.
And that, of course, transitions into what we're talking about today. Polyamory.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a connection with two people at the same time that you felt like you couldn't choose or you couldn't break?
I personally, of course, I think that.
Haven't we all?
Yes, haven't we all? Personally, so first let's start with, I guess, what's your idea or your definition of poly? Because with me, at first, I'm going to be honest, before I feel like I started doing more research and I started talking to people, I just kind of looked at it as, this is a man, he has two women, you guys all get along,
Mm-hmm.
you guys have sex. Like, that's pretty much how I looked at it. But I did not realize that with the poly relationships, it comes so much structure. You have to have so much balance, you have to have so much trust. So it's really like a whole dynamic. And honestly, the more I started to look into it, the more interesting it got to me and the more it intrigued me. And honestly, yeah, just to start off, we'll start it off like this. I'm all for poly relationships. So we'll leave the floor over here with my beautiful co-host.
So I'll start with what I thought polyamory was before I started doing research as well. And I just thought it was like an ongoing orgy. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all nasty. And no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Because I'm definitely not judgmental, right? Like I think that if more people were like into their kinks and like, open with it, the world would be a much happier place,
Much
right?
happier place.
But now that I did get a chance to do a little bit more digging in and hearing from people who are actually in polyamorous relationships, like you said, it's so much more than that.
It's so much bigger than
Yes.
what I thought. And like it made me wonder, like, okay, can I really see myself being in a poly relationship? And honestly, I can. I do feel like so many women have pretty much already been in a poly relationship.
Without knowing?
Whether they knew it or not, they were already in a poly relationship. And I just feel like there were no rules, it was no structure. So it is something, I'm not just going to say I'm actively looking for a poly couple, but I do feel that if that opportunity presented itself, would I take advantage of that opportunity? I most definitely would. Because to me, I feel that it's giving me, like, all around the board, I feel like I would be getting what I want. For one, I'm okay. I am into women. Like I've always, I'm not gonna say experimented. I hear people say that, like, but I've always, since I was younger, had different little girlfriends. It was what it was, but I don't feel like I could ever just be with a woman. So that's why I don't consider myself as being gay, because I know for a fact I can't just be with a woman.
Sure.
But could I be with a woman and still have a man? I've always been like that. And it's like, I feel like it wasn't really a word for, maybe it was always a word. Probably always been a word, but it wasn't as accepted, I feel like, as it is now, And so to me, it just kind of like opened up just my mind a little bit, because I felt like this personally, and I've spoken on this before. I don't think that you can only be attracted to one person for the rest of your life, only this one person. I just kind of think that that's a lie, because that's me personally. Everyone can think different, but to me personally, there's so many options out here now. Definitely, even with social media, you see so much. So to me, with so many options that are out there, I just don't really see where I'm going to be the only one that my man desires for the rest of his life, at least sexually,
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with that. I do think that the concept of monogamy is something that is more recent than, like the whole of human history. And there's actually like research out there about even like the institution of marriage was originally not about romance, right? It was about having legal heirs. It was about property and and making sure that all of your assets pass.
Business.
Yeah, exactly.
Business.
Exactly.
Contract.
And so like it's more recent that it became about romance and oh, I'm so in love with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, that maybe that's a reason why a good number of marriages fail.
Don't work.
It's very complex, right? So I can't imagine, I'm not trying to like simplify it to just that. But to your point, right? You are always going to meet other people that you're attracted to, that, like you said, you desire sexually, or you connect with them intellectually, emotionally. And that, a lot of times you see it lends itself to cheating, to building some sort of connection outside of your defined relationship.
Exactly.
So I don't think polyamory is necessarily an answer to it, but it does provide a structure that I think at least honors that we are human and that we are not likely to only want to be with one person for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And even in that like love triangle, there, like as we were coming into this episode, I was like kind of thinking about it, like would that have even been a structure that could have worked, right? And an actual polyamory structure, not just like, oh, I got two niggas. Yeah. First
something else I want to speak on too. Can poly be
with two? Here, I'm about to speak on it now, right? Because two alpha Caribbean men would have never. I don't think that would have worked, because I think a big part of the tension was that it was ego driven. Both of them wanted me to choose just them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think partially, boo number two started speaking up and stuff because it was a competition for him.
And that's normally what it is.
You know what? It's a so it's not even driven by true, like when you kind of break down like polyamory as a structure, it's equal. It's transparent. It's people who are like, I know, you know what I mean? I know my role in this.
I know the role. I feel like roles are so important. I think that people put a negative spin on, know your role, know your place. Honestly, yes. I feel like, please tell me my role. Because I'm the type of person, if you tell me my role, I can play my role really well. But when I
follow instructions.
I follow instructions very, very well. But when I don't know my role and I don't know my place, and that's what leads to transparency versus honesty. We were speaking about this before we started filming. I just had this conversation with the guy that I'm dating. Honesty is when I'm asking you and you're being honest and you're telling me. Transparency is when I don't even have to ask you. Because you're letting me know everything up front. And with transparency, that leaves me at ease. I don't have to blow up at you. I don't have to ask you a million questions because you've already been transparent. And so I already know. You told me my role. I know where I fit at in your life. And I feel like once you give me that role, like I said, I can play it very, very well. But when I don't know my expectations, it's like with a job. When you go into your career, your job, whatever you have job duties, you have responsibilities. And like you said, this was originally, marriage was, to me, a business contract. So I feel like when you already know your roles, you know your expectations, it helps you to perform your job much more essential than you would if you come into a job and you don't know what you're doing. You're just all over the place. I don't know where I fit in at. When you tell me, and I can't speak for other women, but when you tell me my role, literally, I'm going to do that role to the best of my ability because I know my job. I know what I came here to do. And that's just that. So I feel like when people are not transparent, not only are they hiding something, because they're hiding something, that's why they're not being transparent. They're also the type of people that just don't like to be held accountable. And that's another big thing that most people don't want to be transparent because you have to be accountable. And that's where the ego comes in at as well. Men with that high ego, that big ego, they really do have a very hard time accepting accountability, and that's something that, like I say, I've been talking to someone about, I'm so big on accountability. I'm an open book. If I mess up, I don't have no problem with saying, damn it, I fucked up. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I actually had to do that today. I fucked up at one point. I'm sorry I did XYZ. Yeah. It's either you're going to forgive me or you're not. If we're going to dwell on it or we're not. Because with me, like I said, I'm going to also, if you have a role in my life, I'm going to let you know what I expect from you. I'm going to tell you up front my expectations. So I feel like today, like I said, with having the conversation that I had, transparency to me honestly means way more than honesty. And I just realized that about myself. I always thought that I wanted someone to just be honest. Just be honest with me. Just be honest with me. Like, that's what I've been saying. And there's so much power in the tongue. Yeah. This person is being honest with me. Yeah. But they're not being transparent with me. Yeah. And I think that now I'm realizing that I need transparency, because if it's not transparent, it's making me go all over the place and I don't know my role. And once I start not knowing my role, I start doing other people's jobs. Right. Simple, you know? And unless we're talking about me getting more compensation, you know what I mean? A new job title. Maybe I need a new job. Right. Or a whole new job altogether. Maybe. I love what you said about transparency, though, and how, like, the difference is that it's not something you have to pull from them. Mm-hmm. It's unprompted, right? Exactly. And I do think that one of the things that as I was doing a little bit of research about polyamorous relationships, is that a true polyamory, right? Like, is a very ethical framework, and it is built on transparency. Yeah. Trust is a big one. Communication. Another big one. Hella communication. I think you need more communication in a poly relationship than you do in a regular relationship. Because we were also speaking about this. Me and my brother, I've actually been speaking to so many people about this. So many people are interested, and I love that people are writing and not afraid or ashamed to... Like, you guys don't even understand. Like, I was really shocked by a few other people that told me, like, yeah, I'm down for this, you know, like, and I love that, because I feel like, yes, be open to what you want. Live out loud. With me, I'm just starting to, I feel like, live out loud again, you know, living on my terms. And I know everyone's not going to understand or accept my point of view, but it's not really for them, you know, because I feel like I'm my own person, you know, and what works for me, it might not work for you. Mm-hmm. But I feel like with this and with me speaking with other people, I definitely think that poly is a dynamic that I definitely want to explore, because I feel like I'm the type of person that if I don't try something, I'm going to constantly think about it. I feel like I'm going to over obsess about, like, I really want to try this. Why didn't I do it? So I feel like, to me, no, I want to keep that door open. I definitely do want to try it, but I honestly feel like it has to be the perfect dynamic. It can't just be a good dynamic. It literally has to be the perfect dynamic, because if it's not, it's already destined to fail from the beginning, because women are territorial. We are very territorial. Now, some women are just jealous, but most of us, we are very territorial. Like, I'm okay with certain stuff, you know, but I want you to know, like, this is my name, you know, like, we maybe can play around. I'm open to, you know, I'm open to that, but no, this is my man. Like, I can be very territorial. Yeah. And I feel like with a poly relationship, your guard has to be down. You also, that was another thing, right? Being very clear about the boundaries and what is okay for each partner, right? Because I do think that is something that even in monogamous relationships is not always talked about, and it's sometimes it's kind of implied, and it's like, and then you have those men who like to dance. Exactly. They like to dance on the line, but dancing ass niggas. Yes, they do it very well. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you know, because like there's a certain level of playfulness that I have and that I expect in my partner. Yeah. So, like, if we both see a woman that's attractive, like, I think we had said this last time. Yeah. You see a fat ass walk by, we both looking. Right. We both looking like, I love that. Like, we have to have that dynamic. So that's why I said, to me, I don't see the problem, especially now knowing more that I know. I'm not going to lie. I feel like it will honestly be comfortable for me. Because I feel like, for one, I'm open to women. And I feel like women provide that emotional. Like, you know how we can sit on the phone, you can talk about this. You just can let your guard down with your, you know, with your friends, you know. And I feel like having that woman in your life to balance out, because most men, let's be honest, it's very rare from my experiences to find a man that's open emotionally, like very open with his thoughts, his feelings. That's very, very rare. You have some men, they're in tune with themselves, but most men are not really tapped. They're still not open. Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah. And they're not really just tapped into it. And I feel like with women, it just kind of comes natural. Like, you know, so that was my thing of it. I'm an emotional person, and the person that's in my life will tell you, and he absolutely, he loves it, because on the positive end of it, the love I give, I'm overly doing it, so you feel it. You feel, and you are in tune with his emotions. Exactly, I'm in tune with his emotions. Yeah. But on the back end of it, when the negative emotions come out, that's where the negativity, you know. But like I say, that goes back to also that role. You know, when you know your role and clear expectations, I feel like you can avoid that negativity. But a lot of the times, like we said, men with these egos, they tap dance and they skate on, you know, on your damn nerves. Exactly. So, you know, when you have that, it does make your perception a lot different. But I feel like having that 3-person dynamic, to me, I feel like what I'm not getting from, you know, from him in the relationship, and that is what I have her in my life for. We connect on a soul and emotional level. Yes, we all, you know, connect like that, but sometimes it's just something about, just like I said, having that feeling. You just, you know, when you're with your friends, you just feel that security. It's certain stuff you can tell your friends that you're never going to tell your man. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Right. So I kind of feel like it's just something that's in us. And so that's why I said, yeah, the more research that I did, communication is so big, and I'm such a communicator, and I think that, to me, that's what sold it already to me with the poly. Like, I can actually have someone in this relationship that listens, that actually cares. Not saying my man don't listen and he don't care, but you know, men are so, like, even I have male best friends and my brother. Literally, I can call them with a problem or a situation, and they're a man, so it's like it's no emotions, and it's like, you're being stupid right now. Like, it's very like, straight to the point. I don't want that right now. I want you to tell me it's okay, princess. You know, that's what I need to hear. Hug me. Hello. Like, why are you're making it worse? I called you for comfort. Right. Now I'm about to hang up in your face because you trying me, right? So it's like, men are just so, and it's honestly, but that's what we love about them, because you need a man that's not. I don't like an emotional man, so that's why it's tricky. Isn't that sad? I don't like an emotional man. I wish y'all were a little more emotional, but I really don't like an emotional man. I don't. Yeah, and that's a double standard. I know it's so bad, but I, to be fair, I kind of lean that way a little bit too. I like a self-aware man, but like, if your emotions are bigger, if they're bigger than mine, yeah, exactly. It's a turn off. It's a cringe. Like, I don't need for, okay, that's just like if right now we're broke down on the side of the road. Yeah. We both cannot be fucking flipping out and panicking. That's like, true. I need my man to be like, baby, we got this. Yeah. Let's call triple A. Yeah. Guess what? We're going to get out here. I'm about to change this tire. Yeah. It's, to me, I'm the type, oh my God, the tire just went flat. Yeah. We got the kids. It's on the side of the road. I can't have it to where we're both doing that. Flipping out, oh right? God, right. That's, to me, that's what I can't deal with, because it's like, who's the princess? Is it me or is it you? Because I'm the princess. And you flipping out. Right. Now I gotta come, and that's what I think I have PTSD from. Yeah. It's on a serious note, because I have dealt with men that when there is a problem that is going on, I'm the one that is figuring it out. I'm the one that's coming up with the solution. It doesn't matter if this is something that a man should be leading on. And so I think that's what really steered me away. Like, I want a man, like you said, that's self-aware, in tune with himself, but not one that is overly emotional. Share your emotions with me. Please be able, I actually love that. Tell me how you're feeling. Yeah. But if you're gonna overdo it, you're not the man for me, because it's no safety and security in a man that's overly emotional, because I have to figure out which one of us are going to lose our shit first. Who's it going to be? Whose turn is it this time? Is it your turn to lose your shit, or is it my turn? And I don't want to take turns. It should always be my turn to lose my shit, and you are going to be the one to be that man and be there and say, babies, we got it. We got this. Do you feel like it could be okay if there were, like, it was like topic specific, like he could lose his shit about like
his team not winning.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, lose your shit, baby. I'm gonna be right there with you. Like, I don't know what to do.
Damn, they lost again. Right, right.
You're right. It's definitely based on the topic. So I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I
think, and I know we keep going back to roles, but I love what you said about that too, because we got some great engagement from our listeners. So we just want to shout out to you guys.
Yes.
And one thing that was like broken down to me about one of our listeners is in a polyamorous relationship with a woman. She's a woman. She's in a polyamorous relationship with a woman who is married. And she broke down why that structure worked for her. And one of the things that she said to me that really resonated with me was how much autonomy it allowed her. She's very independent, self-sufficient, educated, all of those things, right? So she's used to having a certain level of freedom in her life. And she was finding that in monogamous structures, and then also with men, because she was dating men before, that they always kind of like, there was a certain level of like codependency that she needed to have the freedom to spend time with her friends or spend time with her family or focus on her career or whatever, you know what I mean? And she was finding that it was very restrictive. And once she said this is the healthiest relationship she's ever been in, and that her partner does allow her that freedom to just be herself. She has her own interests. So
I love that.
It's so funny because I do kind of consider myself someone who's also pretty ambitious, pretty self-sufficient, independent, all of those things, right? But I do crave partnership. And I do remember one time my dad said something to me and I was like, ouch, that kind of hurt. I know
once again, those men, they don't care.
I know he wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. He was just trying to be honest. And I think we were talking about like marriage, more so marriage, because my parents have been married for 37 years.
Beautiful thing.
Year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
So, they're kind of like my role models for this kind of thing. So I don't remember what I was asking him about, but he was saying, he was like, with your mom and I, we built our lives together from the ground up. They were very young when they got married and started a family. So even as far as like their individual success and careers, they built together. And he was like, you have spent most of your adult life building that on your own.
Yeah.
And he was like, it'll be much harder for you to integrate someone or you to integrate into someone, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you've had you're used to kind of doing all of that for yourself.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that hurt my feelings. And I mean, obviously I'm still very hopeful because I do believe that, with the right partner, that you can still have a certain level of, now granted, what this listener was saying about the autonomy and the freedom, I think I kind of accepted that I may not necessarily get as much of that as she has. Because when you think about it too, even in monogamy, right? One person can't be everything to you. And that's probably why a lot of monogamous relationships fail.
They don't work. Yeah.
The expectation is too high.
It's way too high. And that's something that I just had to say to myself too. I can't depend on another person for everything that I need. My happiness, my motivation. Like, it's good to have that, that person in your life. Like, you seen before this episode started. I got a quick call because I'm not gonna lie, like, I probably in that moment, even though this is the person that right now we feel like a difference on things, but this is still the person that I need to like give me that kind of motivation. And that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing how I looked at it, because, and even he said it, you still need to be able to put on that mask and get up there and do what you need to do. It doesn't matter how our conversation went. Take that lesson with you and take that far with you in life. And that's why sometimes you do need those men in your life that they're not being sweet about it. They're telling you what it is. And I wholeheartedly appreciate that, because sometimes you do feel like, this is my person, like I want to call them for this, I want to call them for that.
Yeah.
You do have to, and that's me talking to myself, doing the self-work, that I cannot depend on someone to be my only motivation or, be my happiness. It has to start within. It has to definitely start from within. So it's definitely like something like, how everything sounds good when you're telling someone else, but when you have to actually do the work yourself, it gets a little tricky and a little hard. So sometimes, you know, you do need those reminders. You need those girl talks, or you have those good men like your dad, you know, in your life. You sometimes need those little reality checks, you know, because it helps to put
things in perspective.
Yeah, it definitely does.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
It definitely does.
I do think that is something that, like, even as I was learning more about polyamory, that I was like, I get it as a concept. Like, I can wrap my mind around why it would work, because you now, instead of one person, you have multiple people who are in your corner, who are kind of in tune with your needs. You're able to communicate very clearly what you need out of this relationship, what your boundaries are, what your expectations are, and even kind of what you were saying about, like, when negative emotions come up. Because another thing I was surprised about is that even within that structure, you can still have jealousy.
And see that, okay, so that brings us in. So one of our viewers, they wrote in and they were telling me about that they have been in several poly relationships. And one of them, like she stated, the first one, like it was going good, but she noticed the underlying jealousy, you know, when, because it was her, another woman, and a man. So pretty much when her and, you know, the guy maybe are not on the best of terms, her and the girl, she's loving it. Like, you know, I'm eating this up. You know, I got you all to myself. I know you're not, you know, you two not even messing around right now. And that's the underlying jealousy. And that's what leads me to my point also on, you cannot go into a poly relationship with someone that is doing this, to me, as a last ditch effort to save the relationship. If you're not truly, for one, bisexual, let's start there. A lot of women are gay for play, or, you know, turn their man on. You know, if your heart is not really in it, already it's not gonna work. Number two, if you're not really a poly person, it's one thing if you openly want to try it, you really want to give this a good shot. But if you're doing this because you know your man is on his way out the door, whatever the reason,
he's cheating,
he's cheating already. So you feel that I may as well, you know, bring her in. It's never going to work, because that's not your true intentions. You're doing this because you want to try to save something. Now, I'm all for trying things to save your relationship, save your marriage. It's nothing wrong with that. But if you know in your heart that I'm not really open to this, my thing is, don't do it for another person, because this speaks on, again, you need to work within yourself. You know, and if it doesn't work out with this partner, then that's not your person, you know. But I feel like you're selling yourself short if your man is already cheating on you and you feel like, okay, let's bring in this other woman because that's what he wants anyway. You're already still feeling jealousy, because you're still probably thinking about, why did he choose this woman? You know, what do I not have? You know, like, so that's why, to me, I don't mind, because like I said, I'm definitely open to being in a poly relationship. I have the opportunity now to somewhat, if we get our shit together, we probably could. I don't know. But it's very hard, because to me, I just can't see me coming into a situation with a couple that's already established and they've never done poly before. It's one thing if it's an established couple, and I'm not their first poly relationship, because it lets me know you guys are a poly couple. It just didn't work with the other people. It wasn't a good fit. But if you've never done this, like I stated before, I'm not your guinea pig. You're not going to try it out on me. You're not going to see how it works. Like, I'm just trying to save I'm going up that mountain to save my marriage. And hell no, because I'll be busting the nigga across the head.
I mean, please.
I'm just saying. Don't go up that mountain to save your marriage with me, okay? Let's start there. Don't go up that mountain.
No Sheilas.
No Sheilas. I don't want you to save your marriage with me. But unless, like I said, you honestly wanted to put an effort into it, because your mind could change. Maybe you were doing this as a last ditch effort, but you realized too, like, maybe this is what I've been needing too. I've gained a partner, you know, because clearly the nigga ain't shit, because he's cheating on you anyhow. Let's start there. He's already cheating on you, so you know he ain't shit. So now you got someone you can talk about this ain't shit nigga with together. I mean, we have a sisterhood in the bond now. It's 'cause sometimes, you know, like, even though you know, I mean, everyone can be better. You know, everyone goes through things. That's how I feel. But when you know you have a certain type of man, you know, you can still say, I know that he ain't shit, but this is my ain't shit ass man. You know, like, and I feel like that's a big thing. Most women don't kind of have that outlet because you don't want to keep talking to your girlfriends, you know, your friends about all your relationship problems. But when you're in this together, you guys understand more. Like, girl, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you know, and that's why I said, to me, I think that it would be very unique, very interesting because it, you know, it's the little thing. You can be at the house and it's like, he knows his clothes going to hamper, instead he left them on the floor. Like little shit like that. You're not gonna call your friend to say, girl, you know, what's wrong with this man? Exactly. Yeah. But when you have your other partner, like, you know, this is him. You know, like it's just like, to me, you kind of share the load. You share the load. Yeah. Whether it's a good, all good or all bad, you're sharing it with someone else. Yeah. And I do think that it, for me, it just would take so much off of my plate. And like I said, because I am such an emotional person, I definitely think that it would benefit me. Like, this is something that me and the person I'm dating were literally discussing. Like, it would probably help both of us out on the emotional level because his ass can't give us the emotional on what we need. He just can't do it. Poor baby, he tries, you know, and I'm always on his ass about it. He tries, but he just can't get right. You know, like, off of, like, he's not built that way. He's not built that way. Yeah. And I had to understand that it really is some men that are built like that. Like, they want to and they'll put their best effort, but some men just don't have that in them. And so I do feel like when you bring in that other dynamic, you know, that's what can be like that beautiful love story. And having, like I said, one of the viewers, she said that was the first one, was about, you know, was more jealousy. So that didn't work out. She realized quickly, this woman is jealous of me. And that is a big fear of mine. Coming into somewhere, it's, you guys already been together. She's feeling like that video that I shared. Yeah. This is the main one. You know, I gotta get in line when I come in here. Like, you the little wife, I'm the big wife. And it's like, I want to be the big wife too. You know, I don't want to just be the little wife. So, you know, I do think that you just have to know everyone that's involved, and it can't be any jealousy. Number one, if there's jealousy involved, it's doomed to fail. It's definitely doomed to fail. So, do you want to get into red flags? The red flags then? Yeah. All right, y'all, we're back. So, like we said, we're going to dive into some of these red flags because after all, this is Red Flags Anonymous. This is Red Flags Anonymous. So, yes, there's always going to be red flags. So, I want to ask you your first. What's your first red flag about poly relationships? I would say I would definitely say like lack of boundaries. I feel like there are people who are not like honest about, you know, I mean, and so I'm tiptoeing a little bit because I feel like it lends itself to like all the misinformation that's out there about poly, because I want to stress again that after learning, poly is very ethical, it's very structured. Yeah. So anything that doesn't fall in line with that is not true polyamory. That's very true. A man being greedy trying to sell you a dream. Thank you. That's all it is, pretty much. Because a real poly relationship, you guys are going to have boundaries. Yes. Because if there are no boundaries, even in a regular relationship. Hello. Yeah. So I feel like it's twice is that in a poly relationship. Because you got to know about his boundaries, her boundaries, your boundaries. Exactly. Yeah. What would be my red flag? I think I would say definitely the people who, like we stated, I feel like they're just going along with it because they're not being, like I said, I feel like it's not something that they really, really want. So I feel like when you have someone that's like, you know, I'm just doing it, you know, because, you know, we talked about it. That's a big red flag for me because it's like, this is not your true, what you really want, because it has to be something that all three of us really want. It can't be to where you doing this just because, like, you know, like I'm just trying to please him. That's not going to work. So to me, that's a very big red flag. Is someone that's doing something just to please the other person because they're trying to make it work. Yeah. Yeah. I also think that there are, like, if you have to be very clear about the hierarchy, because you do have
poly relationships that have hierarchy, and then you have some that don't have hierarchy. And I feel like I would be very triggered by a hierarchy.
Me too.
Because,
like I said, it's no big wife, little wife over here. We're both big wife over here.
I am not the two.
Yeah, I'm not the two, baby. Hello. Like, I definitely agree with that. So
Right.
that's a very good red flag, because I do feel like that also comes back to full circle. Those are those women that really, to me, kind of don't want to do it, because if you feel that you need to automatically, when someone comes in, you want to make them know, I'm up here, you know, I'm big wife, you're down here, like that's our. You're just here.
You're just here to please him sexually, and that's it.
Exactly, because we should all be equal, and that's one thing I've learned with doing research and talking to people. They're all equal. There is no big wife, little wife. On this, like, no, we're all we love him the same. You guys both love me the same. It's all about equality. So if there is, if that isn't there, then I agree. I can't do that type of.
That would be very triggering.
Yeah, it would definitely trigger the hell out of me. I can tell you that now, because I feel like that now. Like I said, I don't. The dynamic I'm in is crazy. So it's just kind of like, I don't feel that. I'm not lying. It triggers the fuck out of me every time I've told him this. I'm like, you know, and I'm not even that type of person. I'm never bothered by anybody, but I do feel like, you know how when you can kind of see someone you feel like maybe living a life that you really should be living, or you feel that you should be living. I think that's kind of what triggers me. And that's why I feel like me coming into that dynamic with so much stuff that's already established, it kind of makes me feel like, it intimidates me. It makes me feel like, where do I fit in into this? You guys already have this established. And, you know, like you said, is it going to come into where I have to kind of bow down and I have to, you know, go around what you say? Or is it going to be where we're all going to be open and you're going to also learn me as well? Or is it just me coming in to only learn you and your rules or your way? Because it's so, I want it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound like a role that you definitely would fit into. I definitely see it's more of a role, like you said, it's transparent, it's equal. We're all in this. We're all in this together. Right. And you know, I mean, I still can't say that I would be interested in polyamory. I mean, even though it's like, we have been discussing it very much in the lens of like a man with two women. And there's so many different.
There are different dynamics. How do you feel? So do you think that that is a red flag if you meet someone and they say, oh, I would only do a poly relationship with a woman and a man? Because does that mean that they're not really poly? Because a poly relationship, it could be me with two men. Yeah. It could be me with two women. Yeah. You know, because if I'm really poly, and this is why I say it goes back to, is this a lifestyle that you really, because this is a lifestyle. Yeah. Is this a lifestyle that you really, really want? Because to me, that would be a red flag to me if I say, oh, I can only do a poly with a man and a woman. Because that means I'm not really poly. And to me, I kind of wouldn't mind, you know, exploring all of my options. Like, you know, I honestly think that a poly relationship can be me with two men. And
that would be the only dynamic that I could, if I was to ever.
I told you, like my Libra cousin, they don't want no cat. Okay, they're not hanging around.
I love women. Women are beautiful, but that's literally where it starts and stops, right? So I would have to deal, and I'm like, would I even want to deal with two men?
This is going to be, I'm not going to say our next episode, but I'm going to drop this on YouTube right now, because honestly, I wanted to see her expression.
Please.
So if you're going to be open to being in a poly with two men, how do you feel about bisexual men? See, I wanted to wait to see how she felt on camera. I promise I did not discuss this with her beforehand.
She really did not. And
I just had a very good conversation with one of my very close friends.
The way I'm about to throw this phone.
So, because I mean, if you're going to be in a poly relationship, you have two men. Yeah. I mean,
they ain't got to date each other.
They don't have to. So that's not poly.
It is.
How is that poly though?
Because there's different dynamics.
Well, you're right. There are different dynamics of the poly. If they're open to it, to know that you're dating, but they're not dating each other.
No.
Okay, so with me, that's why I say poly to me is where we're all together. That's my view.
And maybe that's why it wouldn't work for me.
I think so. That's probably why, because I definitely see that.
You asked me about bisexual men, so I do want to say real quick that, like, love is love.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's, free to love and express themselves sexually however is best to them.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a date.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like early last year, like 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a date with a man that I met off Hinge, and he was super intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't really that cute, but he was super intellectual. And I was like, man, he's got great conversation.
Yeah, love that.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So we met up, and I mean, the conversation is flowing. Because I'm like, he's really book smart. And I like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And we get to a point in the conversation where we were talking about TV. Mm-hmm. And so he was a fan of Insecure, which should have been my first
red flag, first of all.
I'm just kidding. For all the male Insecure fans out there, it's a great show.
It's a great show.
It is a great.
Please watch it. As a matter of fact, let's binge watch it again and talk about it. So let's do that and talk about it, okay? So
he's like, oh yeah, it was a great show, and we were both talking about how relatable it was. And so he's like, yeah, sorry. I know. You already know I'm about to go there. So he's like, yeah, especially, that one scene with Molly and Jared. I said, what part of the conversation is relatable to you? Like literally, I'm the record scratched in my head. What part of that? Because I know which conversation he's talking about.
Conversation you're talking
about. He's like, yeah, because I have been attracted to men sexually before, and I was like, okay, tell me more about that. Because I'm the type of person where I'm like,
I love to learn from women. I love a good story. And anybody that has ever dated me or friends with me knows I'm a sucker for a good story. So yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like, and my thing is, I don't want to like automatically be like, no, I want to hear about your experience. Yeah. So I said, well, what brought you to? Because right now you're dating women, obviously. Why? What? Like, tell me how we got here, right? So he's telling me at some point, he realized he was attracted to men sexually and started engaging with them and like all of this stuff. And then he said that he could not connect with them emotionally, that it was just physical. And I'm not going to lie, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. And if that doesn't make me an evolved person, I'm so sorry, because I said, now she was just smashing and you know what I mean?
Is it bad that I like watching bisexual and gay porn?
Ivy, please. My parents are probably going to watch this.
Please don't watch this episode. Please, any of our older people, please do not watch this episode.
Turn it off right now. I do think there's a certain level of eroticism in like bisexual and gay porn. So I'm not even going to try and sit here and be like, oh my God, that's gross. But I do think that me dating someone who still, and because he even admitted, he said, I still find gay porn erotic.
So this was a combo that me and my friend had. I asked her, would you date a bisexual man? Yeah. First of all, let's be clear. A lot of us have already dated a bisexual man.
Fair.
That's very fair. Let's just be honest. You can say that you haven't, but girl, you have.
Yeah.
So let's start there. So I asked her if he's openly telling you that he's bisexual, but like you stated, there's no emotional there. It's just something about that. Should we call it a forbidden fruit? I don't even know what to say at this point. But she stated that she would definitely partake and have fun with a bisexual man and date him. But she said, as far as making that my husband or being who I'm really seriously with, she said she doesn't know, because you don't know, are you really attracted to men or are you really attracted to women?
So that's what he was saying, is that, and I mean, I did appreciate him because he was very, very honest on this date. And I thought, man, that's like really great for him to open up in this way. He was saying that was some of the difficulty he was having because he's primarily attracted to Black women, but a lot of Black women don't necessarily, they're not attracted to bisexual men, or if they do deal with him, it would be more so in the dark, not in a true,
relation to bringing him around
in a true commitment,
family,
exactly.
And that's what my friend said. Personally, to me, I love love. I am all for everything. So I feel like if a man is comfortable enough to open up and tell me his sexuality, I like women. So it's like, how can I tell you that you can't like a man? I'm so big on double standards. Now, personally, do I just want a bias? I'm not going out looking for that. But like I said, also in this day and age, there are so many men that are curious about their sexuality.
Right.
So when a man is open enough to tell you this, I feel like you shouldn't take that lightly. You know, I feel like that is something that you should honestly be proud that you're that security blanket, or that, you know, a person feels that safe to open up, because for men that's very hard to open up, because like he stated, most black women are shunning it. They don't even want to hear about it. Oh, you know, he's gay, he's this. And there are different terms. Everyone is not just gay. I don't consider myself as gay. Do I consider myself as bisexual? I do, because I like women, I like men. And so I can't play that role to where I say, well, I like to see women kissing, but I don't like to see men doing kissing. This. You know, like, to me, that's the double standard, and I don't live by double standard.
I also think two beautiful men kissing is hot.
Yeah, me too. I think that is
it's hot. Right?
It's a very beautiful thing. So that's why,
I don't want it in my relationship.
See,
and I think that is.
And see, that's why I said let's circle back now, because we're gonna have an episode about bisexual men and women, because I think it's such a hot topic, and I think that I do want this to be a safe space. Like, I was surprised with how many people wrote me about the poly relationship, honestly, like whether they're saying they wanted to do it. And I mean, I had men and women writing saying their thoughts about it. So I feel like opening up that door, because this was the perfect leeway to me with the poly, because like you stated, poly is different dynamics. It doesn't just have to be a man, you know, two women and a man. It could be me with two men. And honestly, I think that I want us all to be on the same page. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I know that some people, they're like, "Oh my God, that's just how I feel." You know, if I'm gonna be dating two men, I want us all to open. Now, maybe you guys aren't that open to maybe having sex with each other, but we're spending time together. You know, we're doing this together. I'm thinking we're all out on a date together. You know, and it's because to me that shows me how much of a man you really are. You don't have to be bisexual, but if we're open enough, because I feel like if a man has that same type of spunk and, you know, charisma about him, I have that same charisma about me. I can most definitely have two men that would love to be out with me at the same time. I know that. So it's just about where they are mentally, because also how women are territorial and we have the ego. We of course know that men are very territorial and have that ego. Sure. So I feel like if I break it down and I'm able to find that man that is open and okay with, hey, you know, I know you're going out with, you know, James tonight. You know, I know you're with Tyreek tonight, whatever, you know. To me, that's a beautiful thing. And definitely if you're coming with us, like, hey, we're all hanging out tonight. Yeah. And honestly, to me, even more, if I find two men that are open to that, oh, y'all would never see me in another relationship again, baby. I'm sold. I'm gone. These are my men, and I'm loving it. Think what you want to think. You can say, oh, they're bisexual. Well, these are both my bisexual men, and I love it here. Like, you know, because life is all about what you make it. And I feel like you only get one life. And if you spend your time worrying about others' thoughts, you're never going to truly be happy. And I had to learn I'm going to be happy by any means necessary. I can't care what viewers, friends, family, I can't care what someone else says about my life, because it's my life. And I am open to trying different things. So would it be just ideal to have two men? No, it's probably not ideal. But this is something that I feel like I would try and definitely work out. I definitely would try it. I definitely would.
Yeah, I just...
I know it's a lot.
Yeah. Because even what you were saying about like two men who would be open to it, even if they weren't necessarily attracted to each other, you know, it's I feel like for me it's very difficult to truly like a man. You know what I mean? Like to truly like beyond maybe like physical attraction or, you know, truly like one, let alone like two at the same time. So I even like kind of going back to the love triangle I keep referencing from the last episode, like I truly loved them both. And it was like I had such a difficult time, I think, wrestling with the idea of like, well, is this supposed to happen? Yes. Am I not supposed to pick one? And doing this thing,
have had both. If
in an ideal world, I wouldn't even have had to choose. right?
And you should not have to choose.
I mean, there's clearly a structure for that now that is a little bit more visible and tolerable. In my very Caribbean family, hell no, that wouldn't have flown. They go, girl, you lost your damn mind. But I think in an ideal situation, taking society, everything out, I would have been able to honor both connections at the same time. And I think that's what it would have come down to.
So you do feel like that you can love two people equally at the same time. Thank you.
I do think that's a thing.
People say that you can't love two people. Why the hell you can't? I can love three, honestly. Maybe four. It's me. So hey, I got a lot of love to give around. That's for sure. So don't put nothing past me when it comes to that. Because honestly, I just feel like I'm a lover. I say that all the time. I'm such a lover girl. So I definitely feel like you can love two people. So that's why with men, I honestly understand where a lot of men come from, because see, they're more open with it. Women have been kind of shunned. You can't possibly like two men at the same time. You're a hoe.
It's hard.
That's how they look at you automatically.
Yeah, true.
And it's just kind of like, no, I definitely feel this feeling, and it's like on a different level sometimes for this person. Like, even though I love them equally, but the emotional part, it just hits. It
wasn't even about the physical. Like, sorry, Mom and Dad, if you're still listening, please close your ears. Both of them had great dick.
That's always so.
Yeah, so I'm like,
it's hard.
Both,
you find a man with some good dick,
and they were both really, really attractive, just my type, all of the things.
Girl, it would have been a choo. Where are you going? Where are you going? Okay. Right. You're not leaving. You're not leaving. I have the perfect man. Right.
No, but it was more than that. Like I said, there was a certain level of friendship I built with both of them. And not even at the same time. Some of it was like historical. So anyway, I say all that to say that in an ideal situation, I would not have had to choose. I do accept that, because I don't know if it's still like conditioned. Maybe I'm conditioned a little bit. Like I still, like, I don't, kind of going back to the whole topic of polyamory, right? Like, I don't know that I would be 100% secure in a polyamorous relationship, because to a certain extent, I do kind of fancy of the idea of like one person just for me. And I understand that they're not going to be able to be my everything. They won't be perfect. And there's always going to be somebody else out there who could fit other places in my life maybe better or do more for me or whatever.
Explain that.
But it's just, I think there's something so beautiful and sacred about you are my person. Yeah. Right. And it's especially in today's landscape, I'm like, am I still going to feel that way in 5-10 years, especially if I'm still single? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, maybe I should just join somebody's stuff. I don't know. Scooch over. You got, right. Maybe it may be, at a certain point, it may become a necessity to have to date that way.
I think it, like you said, I think it definitely just comes with time. With me, I kind of have I'm not gonna lie, I've always kind of felt this way, but like I say, it just wasn't something, because back then people weren't as open, with different things. People, you're dumb, you're just letting him have another girl. Yeah. It's like, you couldn't really explain certain things, because people that get it, they get it. And if they don't, they just don't. So I feel like, to me, I've always felt this way, but it's like, after being in the relationships that I've been in, I feel like, to me, that's just more of where I'm going and where I'm headed at. Because I feel like, ideally, that's what's out here right now. The guy that I'm dating, he actually said it like this, because, one day I'm talking my shit. I'm like, oh, it's plenty of niggas out here, that got big dicks and money that would not mind, I'm talking my shit. So he's like, babe, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the men that really got it like that, they already got a wife, they're already established. They're already this. And I was just like we said, that they don't know how to talk to you. But I had to really look at it. Most of the men that are out here that I feel like that are really doing their shit, you know.
They'll be divorced soon.
They definitely will be divorced soon, but they're married. And I had to really look at that. You know, a lot of them are married. So I hated that he was fucking right. Yeah. But he was right. And so I said, you know what? That is why I feel like it's becoming so many of these open talks now, because at the end of the day, I'm just going to be honest with you. I had to put myself in one of these wives' shoes. If my man is taking care of every single thing that I need done, do I really care if sometimes he's out there fucking around? I mean, when I literally have not one, and when I say not one worry, I mean not one worry in the world, and he still treats me like a queen. I have no idea that he may be even fucking around, you know?
I suppose there's a trade-off, but I feel like my brain still goes, hell no.
Yeah, that's our first.
I will kill you.
That's our first reaction. That is our first reaction. But I feel like with the time passing, when we speaking, because I hang around like a lot of older people. Yeah. When I go to the bar and stuff, like they sit there and they have their conversations with me. And from what most of them are saying, like, he ain't going nowhere. I'm so put up at home. And you know, I used to think like, this lady's so stupid. You willing to let this man do whatever. And in reality, it's like, are they dumb? Because in this economy right now, my bills are about 3,000 plus. Yeah, right. Every month. Right. It don't sound too bad to have a man that's taking care of every single thing. And okay, he's fucking around on me. I know that sucks because it's not ideal. I don't ever want people to think that, oh, this is what I want. Oh, I'm okay with my man just cheating. No, but we have to be real and live in today's terms. These men, that's what it is right now. You know, so it's kind of like you weigh the option. Do you want to be the person that's put up and you don't have any worries? Because right now, I'm not going to lie, no worries and no bills. It kind of sounds really promising to me right now. I'm tired of being a hard working woman. Right. But then, like you say, on the other hand, you feel like, no, like, you know, I want us to have more, I want us to trust each other more. You know, like, even though there's still so many other people out here, I want this to still just be my person. So it's like I get it on both ends. But when I really step back to really look at why are some of these women accepting poly now? Or and this is why a lot of women are accepting poly now. They're not willing to lose their breadwinner. They're not willing to lose the home they built.
So do you think that like financial abuse it kind of pushes that as a
I definitely feel like financial abuse is it's I feel like if it's in monogamous relationships, it's definitely all up and through relationships. To me, the point. Financial is the number one reason probably why most of these women were even open to poly. Because like I stated, I feel like in this day and time and in this economy, if you find a man that's literally well enough to take care of everything that you need, that's not really something you give up. Because women are accepting less from men that can't even help them put gas in their car. Right. So when you find a man that's making your life that easy, I kind of think you're willing to accept a few more things that maybe you weren't willing to accept before. Because guess what? You're 50, 60 years old now. You want to get back up and start working because, you know, I left my cheating man. You know, I don't know most women that are willing to actually leave that alone. So if I'm going to accept this, that means I'm willing to also open up this door. If this is something I got to do to help save what I got going on, I might consider it.
See that be a motive.
It's definitely a motive. The financial of it is definitely, I feel like, a motive because financial abuse is very real. And I had someone that tell me that he's like, I'm not proud of it. He was like, but with my ex, that's how I would control her. Yeah. I'm making all the money. So, and he had to learn, you know, like, I love men though that actually tell me
they're honest, right?
I love that they're honest and they tell me they're fuckers. Yeah. But it also helps me realize what type of person you are. So I always keep my eye on you, right. First of all. But you know, when you have that man that I feel like that is open, that's why I just respect honesty. Because I feel like it lets me also know, you know, like, okay, this is the type of person that you are and you're letting me know what you are. So it helps me to know what to expect. But I love the fact that he said it wasn't something that he was proud of that he did. So I feel like if a person has financial abuse in just a regular man and woman relationship, you can imagine in a poly relationship, there's definitely some financial power and abuse in that dynamic, and probably what helped to bring about that dynamic anyway was finances. Somewhere in that circle, it was brought up.
Yeah, it's so funny as we were talking about that. I thought about like my grandmother. When I was growing up, she always said to me, "Chrissy, make sure you get a sweet education so that no man can tell you what to do. And it's so funny because I'm like not even realizing maybe to the extent that she was talking about that, but essentially, right, what she wanted to instill in me was like, go get your own, so that you never have to be in a situation where you have to make that kind of choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's also why I'm like, even when I say yuck, right? Like, I don't ever want to be in a situation, and monogamy, polygamy, polyamory, whatever. I don't ever want to be. I do know that I don't want the type of relationship where I feel like I have to choose this out of necessity. Out of necessity. Yeah. I want to choose it because this is actually what I want. Yes. Like, it's not this isn't something I need. And I think that that's another red flag to me is some women are looking for a poly because they're looking for a savior, like they're looking to come in and get taken care of. And I think that that's a red flag because you're not really poly. You're just looking for someone to come up. Exactly. You're looking for a come up. And that's why I say it's so many negative stereotypes that are on poly. Yeah. Because you do have people that are like that. They're tired of paying bills. So they feel like, hey, if I got to sit up here and be with a man and a woman to get my rent paid, so be it. And so that's what I think, that's the negative outlook on the poly relationships, because at the end of the day, like we stated, it has to be a want. It can't be something that's a necessity, like I need this to work so I can continue to live this lifestyle. That's to me a very big red flag. And I can understand why some men, because most of the dynamic is going to be it's a man with two women, most of the poly relationships you see. So I feel like I can understand why some men would steer away from a woman that they're coming in, they're not self-sufficient, they don't work, like they're just looking for all you can provide is sexual. And that's, I think, another big discrepancy about poly. It's not all sexual. True. It's so much bigger than that. So if that's what you're looking for, you're really just looking for a threesome. Right. You're not looking for a poly relationship. Goes back to my original thought about it's just an ongoing orgy. It's a freak fest. Right. a slightly structured. Slightly structured freak fest. Yeah. So I think that I think we covered the red flags. I think that those would be the biggest. So I guess like even going back to like our feelings towards it. So like for sure you are like, I could date a man and a woman, or I could date two men who are also dating each other. So, this is a good thing. I'm glad you just said this. Yeah. So another viewer, they said that they have been labeled as a unicorn. Okay. And so I asked her before we started, like, have you heard of this term? Because personally, of course, we've all heard of a unicorn. Yeah. But in a relationship term, I had to look up what is a unicorn. Right. And pretty much it states that you're someone that is open to, dating, whether it's, you're there to make these people happy, whether it's two men, two women. And the reason why they call this person a unicorn is because they're very rare and they're hard to find. I'm sorry that I have to take your term too, but I honestly feel like that is, when I read it, I feel like I am a unicorn because honestly, I am open to whatever. This is my new life now. Being newly single and being out here, I am literally open to whatever comes to me. So if a poly relationship comes to me, whether it's in the form of me being with another woman and a man, if it's two men, honestly, I don't know about two women. I don't think that I could do that poly because I'm already not. I still need a man somewhere in there. So that's the only dynamic of the poly that wouldn't work is me with two women. Yeah. But me with either two men or me with one man and one woman. Oh yes, I'm definitely. I'm. We're gonna change your title to Ivy the Unicorn. Yes, because I literally love the term because I do feel like I am very rare. Like, I have before, I have, dated someone that, like, I feel like we're very open with a lot of things and the conversations that we've had. It's like, I love that type of stuff. Like, yes, I love that you're that open with me, that you can tell me X, Y, Z. To me, it makes the relationship that much deeper because it's like you trusted me with this information. Yeah. And it's like, I just love that. And I feel like when you have, like they say, secrets are really what bonds people most of the time because
when we're keeping a secret from each other, there's certain limits that you're just not gonna, test, and you're just not gonna come about. So to
puts it
me,
apart.
I definitely love, I'm open to it all. I definitely would try it. Like I said, maybe I am actively looking. Shit, I don't know. Maybe I'm actively looking for a poly
You heard it here
relationship.
first.
You heard it here first. Maybe
you
I
got
am.
your unicorn ready to spread joy and love.
So how do you feel now that we're wrapping up the episode? How do you feel?
It's still a hell no.
It's still a hell no for you.
No, I'm teasing. I definitely, what was great about this episode and the research that went into it, and us being able to engage with other people who already have these experiences, was learning something new that I had never learned before. Yeah. But I think it also strengthened maybe kind of like my ideas about what I want from a relationship, and why I'm like, it sounds nice. Yeah. But for me, I think I'm okay with maybe working within the limitations of monogamy. Because I can accept that monogamy is like, I forget who, I don't know if it was a celebrity that, I think it was Leslie Jones. I was watching, she's a comedian, and she was like, marriage is legalized slavery.
I mean, honestly, I definitely somewhat agree. I'm going to be honest with you. I somewhat agree. So, honestly, you give that traditional. Maybe it's your Caribbean roots. And like you said, you see your parents.
I think I've been socialized to this.
Seeing your parents, like I'm sure that that's something that's big. But I also know that you have such a different side of you. So I feel like
open. I mean, I'm an open person.
She's very open.
And I definitely so to that point, right? I am very traditional in the sense that like that's how I was raised, and that I had a very set idea about how my life was going to go, not just romantically, but education, career. And when things didn't necessarily go my way, I have no problem pivoting, right? Okay. So that where that openness comes from, like, okay, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Yep. If I don't have success with this, maybe I can try something different. So I don't know why. I think relationships is kind of like the last block for me, where I'm like, you know what I mean? I can't see myself saying, well, it hasn't worked so far in this way. Yeah. Let me try something else. Because at this point, honestly, like if I find myself like I said, like 5-10 years from now, I'm just gonna be a hoe. Yeah. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be a hoe. I'll be an old hoe. Exactly. That is literally
old,
yeah. I won't be a cat lady because first of all, I got a dog. You know what I mean? And Lumi and I and whatever man is currently in my life, we will have a time, right?
Exactly. That's how I look at it. But I'm glad that because when we first talked about it, you were all like, hell no. So I am so glad that we were. That's why I said I knew this was going to be a fun episode. Yeah. Because it's like us having a discussion like in real time about how we really feel, and actually see how our minds change. Because remember, I told you, I don't know if I even still feel the same way after this conversation I had. And talking it out, it really helped me to realize that, like, no,
you are open to it.
I'm very open to it. So I'm glad to see that, even though it's not something that you want right now or something you're looking for, I love the fact that it changed from hell no to like, hey, this is interesting. I learned a lot about it. So I think that's always a beautiful thing. Like, instead of just shutting stuff down, to actually learn about it. And, because sometimes you can see like, hey, I can see why maybe, this person would do this, X, Y, Z. So I'm glad that you were able to.
Yeah, it definitely challenged, I think, some of the ideas I had about relationships and monogamy. But I think it's good that, we're having these discussions because like you mentioned earlier, now we're going to discuss on the next episode, we're going to discuss, sexuality, fluidity.
Fun.
Yeah, and it's gonna continue to challenge me because I want you to know. Sorry, just to wrap this up, that man I went on a date with after he told me he was bisexual, there was not a second date.
And what? But we didn't follow back up. No. So no, there was no second date.
I was very respectful about it. There's no need to be rude or anything like that. But I just let him know that I was like, I don't think. No for you. Yeah, I don't think that this is something I could see moving.
And how long ago was that?
This was like early 2025.
Okay. So circling back around, if that same guy, if you were to go on a date with him today, and he
learning
opened
what I
up
know.
and told you now, how would you feel if he said, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm open if you're dating someone else, to be in this. It would your mind be a little bit? Would you have cut him off instantly? Or would you have maybe had a second date?
I think I probably would have tried to get to know him a little bit more.
See, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
See, I'm rubbing off on her a little bit.
Yeah. But I do know that I think, and it wasn't, what's crazy too, I don't even think it was so much the fact that he was bisexual, because I was like, I do appreciate that, again, that honesty.
Yeah, I love that.
And even if we were to be monogamous together, obviously I know that I would trust that he is not actively seeking, sexual sex with men or other women at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it was the fact that, like, when he was explaining to me why, I kept hearing that there was an emotional void he was trying to fill. And I was like, baby, you don't need a girlfriend. You need a therapist. So that's what it sounded like. You know what I mean? And I think for me, I was like, I don't want to be your rehabilitation center, right?
Yeah,
and for you to now just be coming back into dating women and like, oh, I'm trying to, because to me, I almost wanted to ask him, like, well, if you had built an emotional connection with a man that you were physically attracted to, would you not have stayed, dating men? Right? The only reason that you started dating women again is because you're like, I can't build with them emotionally. Baby,
and see, that circles back to, I feel like, with the poly.
Yeah.
Because with me,
maybe that would have worked for him.
Exactly. The poly would have worked for him because, like I said, I feel like with men, you're not getting all of that emotional. So for a man to say that he was lacking the emotional with another man, I feel like in that situation, poly would have probably been a great thing.
I think he just needed a therapist.
He probably needed a therapist too. Though. He probably did. Yeah. Most men do. We all do. I talk to that lady quite often.
Yes. And shout out to him. He was very respectful and like there's no hard feelings. And obviously I'm not going to put all his business out there, but I just, after kind of asking more questions, I was like, I don't think that this is what is going to work romantically for between the two of us, So, but anyway.
Well, that's perfect. Way to end this episode. I feel like this was such a great episode. To everybody that voted, to people that wrote me, wrote Kris. I'm so thankful that we're starting to get so much more engagement.
Same.
Because it really does help us with the episode. And it gives us like that insight. So this is always a safe space. We're not sharing anyone's names or dates or places. But I am so thankful that you guys wrote in and actually opened up to give us real life experiences of poly relationships, because I honestly didn't think I knew anyone that was in a poly relationship. You guys surprise me every time I turn around. Y'all surprise me. But needless to say, we thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope that you guys tune in the next episode, because I feel like this was a step up. I feel like it was more intriguing of a conversation and we learned more. So I'm so ready also for this challenging. Keep challenging ourselves and, keep listening to these stories. I love it.
It sounds like it's just going to be challenging to me.
Because to me, I'm open to all of it. I love y'all. There's no challenge on my end. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. This has been Red Flags Anonymous. I'm Ivy, your Delulu queen.
/unicorn.
/unicorn. Yes.
And I'm Kris, your serial optimist. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.